Hi, I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. Today on SoFlo Taste, we're not cooking with gas, but we are turning on the juice as I show you a whole bunch of wonderful ceviche recipes. So join me today on SoFlo Taste. This is South Florida. It's where I live and work. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. South Florida is more than sun, sand, and sea. It's a lifestyle of fashion, sound, culture, and of course, food. Food with taste from all over the world. Join me as we celebrate the food of South Florida and the people who love it. Join me as we experience SoFlo Taste. Hello, I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein and welcome to SoFlo Taste. The beginnings of ceviche probably came to us from Spain through Latin America. The process of cooking fresh fish with citrus juices is a wonderfully flavorful way of preparing fish. So today I thought it would be fun to show you some of my favorite ceviche recipes. So let's get cooking. The first thing I'm going to teach you is choritos a la chalaca. Mussels with kind of the flavors of ceviche, but the mussels are already cooked. So you take some mussels and you put them into simmering water just until they open. And we'll do that real quick. And all this water has is a little bit of salt. That's it. You don't want to add any flavoring because we're really going to add so much flavoring here. Okay, so they just quickly pop open. You set them aside, and once they cool, you basically take off the part of the shell that doesn't have the beautiful meat in it, okay? So once that cools, I keep them on the half shell like so, and then I start my really delicious mixture. So here are little diced tomatoes. I've peeled them first, diced them, and everything is cut exactly the same size. I mean, do it as much as you can. I know that it's hard to do when you have so many things to cut, but it's really all about texture and mouthfeel. That's what's so important to us as chefs. This is red pepper, skin on, raw red pepper. These are jalapenos, same thing, just raw. Everything, again, I'm just going to keep saying it, is cut exactly the same way. So to this, I'm going to add a little bit of ají amarillo. It's a chili from Peru, an ají from Peru. It's a little spicy, not too crazy spicy. I'll add a little bit of that, a nice amount of salt, and some fresh squeezed lime. One great thing about limes is that they don't have seeds, and so they're much easier to use than lemons. You want to make it juicy but not too juicy. You want an even distribution of everything. From the vegetables, the chilies, the lime, the salt. It's all about balance, and that's to me what is most important with tiraditos and ceviches. All right, beautiful. So you see how that's all juicy but nice and chunky? That's what you want. I'm going to add a little bit of fresh cilantro to that. I'm going to cut it actually on the stem to get a little bit more flavor. Put that right in there. And then I have this big, fat, beautiful corn, which is Peruvian corn. You can get it in frozen bags, and you just boil it for a couple seconds in salted water. So you mix that all together, and then you put that right into the shell with the mussel. And look how beautiful that is. Isn't that lovely? So you can sit that on a little bed of something or just on their own, but you want them to be really cold. Now what's another great thing about this is it can be made ahead of time, a few hours ahead of time before you serve them. And there you have it. Choritos a la chalaca, or as I like to call it, a mussel ceviche. Provecho. For more information on today's show, or to see a previous episode, or just to ask me a question, please go to our website, SoFloTaste.com. It's your one-stop shop for everything SoFlo Taste. Welcome back to the Ceviche Show. We should be calling it Ceviche and Tiradito Show, but maybe that would be confusing. This is tiradito, the cousin of ceviche. Kind of the same thing, but it doesn't actually sit in the juices because it's sashimi style. So you'd sit it on top of juices or underneath juices. You can make this with any kind of your favorite fish that can be eaten raw. I'm using a salmon right now because it is absolutely beautiful and it's more towards the belly side, so even better. But any good white fish like a fluke would be really yummy. So I'm just going to cut that into nice thin sashimi style slices. And this is really beautiful fatty salmon belly. Next we're going to make a little bit of sauce for it. So the traditional tiradito sauce, I went kind of traditional today. So a little bit of that ají amarillo that we just talked about. Some minced garlic. Some fresh squeezed lime. And as you notice, every time I'm making something, I'm squeezing lime into it. I don't have already pre-squeezed lime juice. It makes the biggest difference. And if you're going to bother making this, you might as well squeeze your own limes. And then finally, a bit of olive oil. Season it with a little bit of salt. Okay. Finally, I have something called ají limo. So I've cut this up really nice and small. I got rid of the seeds. This is from Peru. It's an ají from Peru. And I've got a little bit of fresh celery, small diced, and of course cilantro. So I'm going to put the salmon down on a nice chilled plate. Always make sure everything you're working with is really cold. The salmon is really, really cold. Keep it cold until the last minute. A nice chilled plate is really essential. I'll spoon some of the sauce right over. We'll take a little bit of the ají. We'll put just a tiny bit over each piece of salmon. And then, of course, celery. So that every time you bite in, you get a little crunch. Finally, a touch of cilantro and some sea salt. And there you have it. My salmon tiradito. Spicy and delicious.
Looking for a wine to go with Michelle's ceviche? How about Mannequin from Oren Swift? The varied microclimates of California were ideally suited to growing top-quality Chardonnay in 2012. They gave us this blend with distinction, finesse, and profound drinkability. Gilded in bright yellow, an alluring perfume of candied lemon, bosque pear, wildflower, and honeydew melon incentivize the palate. Mannequin is an ideal seafood wine with broad appeal due to its unique blending components. Or try Groth Sauvignon Blanc. The 165-acre sustainability farmed estate of Groth Vineyards and Winery has been rooted to the heart of Napa Valley since 1982. The warm climate that these Sauvignon Blanc grapes are sourced from creates a wine with lively citrus acidity and a clean finish ideal with seafood. The additional 3 months of aging in barrels provides the body and mouthfeel to pair alongside dishes with ingredients of jalapeno or chilies, and match well with the meatiness of Michelle's mussels, tuna, and shrimp. And speaking of mussels, back in a bit when Michelle will continue to flex hers.
SoFlo Taste will return right after this.
Looks like fun, doesn't it? It's last year's Carnival on the Mile, Miracle Mile in Coral Gables. Well, here it comes again on the first weekend in March. And new this year is its CORK and Fork, a 2-day food and wine festival at Carnival on the Mile, featuring some of the best that Gables has to offer, including Doreen Colondres, author of The Kitchen Doesn't Bite. I'm Melinda Harper on the road for SoFlo Taste in Coral Gables. We're here to meet up with our good friend Doreen, and she's going to show us how to take a bite out of our kitchen before our kitchen takes a bite out of us. Doreen, it's so nice to be cooking with you in the kitchen today. What are you making for us?
I'm going to prepare a quinoa salad, kind of like an escabeche style. I'm going to just put together like different ingredients from different nationalities. I mean, we have yellow plantains, avocado, cilantro. It's kind of like an escabeche. I'm going to show you really quick how to make it, okay?
It sounds delicious, and I know that quinoa is big nowadays, full of protein, packed with flavor. How did you come up with this recipe, and will you be making it at the Cork and Fork?
It was actually an accident. It was a day that I was like starving, and I had the pigeon peas, and then I had the cooked quinoa in the refrigerator. I was like, let's start putting together ingredients because they're perfect together.
So, Doreen, you will be making this dish at the Cork and Fork event at Carnival on the Mile,
Yes.
Saturday, March 5th. What time?
At 7 p.m. So see you all. I'm going to show you the step-by-step how to make it. And here you're going to add whatever you want, whatever you have in your refrigerator. So some platanitos maduros, yellow plantains to give it some sweetness. We have here different textures. Then some lemon juice, splash of olive oil.
Now, Doreen, what's your approach to cooking in the kitchen?
Listen, my mission is to convince you and to convince everyone that the kitchen doesn't bite. You have to see it something as, I don't know, as a lifestyle. It's fun. So you have to enjoy the time you spend in the kitchen. This is ready, by the way. If you guys want to put it in the refrigerator, you can add some bay leaves, and 1 or 2 days will be wonderful.
How did you choose this dish to make it to Cork and Fork?
Because I think it has an ingredient from each country. It's inspiration. It's just inspiration. The time that we have, the seasonality, just respecting the ingredients that we have available. Okay, now you have to taste it.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Thank you.
Listen, with 1 piece of everything. That has everything.
I can definitely taste all the countries in this dish and the love that was put into it. And so people who want to try this can come out and see you Saturday, March 5th.
At 7 p.m. People, get your tickets in advance and see you all. The kitchen doesn't bite.
So again, Cork and Fork at Carnival on the Mile in Coral Gables, sponsored by the KIWANIS Club of Little Havana, Saturday and Sunday, March 5th and 6th. Food and wine tasting, cooking demonstrations, and live entertainment. For more information on Cork and Fork at Carnival on the Mile, log on to SoFloTaste.com. We're on the corner of Ponce and Miracle Mile, where it's all going to happen March 5th and 6th. Looks like I'm the first. Make that the second person here.
Welcome back to the Ceviche Show. It is not only a privilege but an honor to have a good friend with me, an old friend with me here. This is Julio Cabrera, and you call yourself a cantinero, right?
Cantinero, Cuban cantinero, yes.
Cuban cantinero, and why don't you tell everybody what that means?
Cuban cantinero is like a professional bartender. We have to go to school 1 or 2 years in order to become a bartender. So it's from school, we have to learn a lot of things, languages, more than 100 classic cocktails. So it's very professional. You have to keep some rules in order to go behind the bar and to go to school first. So it's very professional.
And it's very detailed, and he always looks like this. I mean, he always looks so incredibly detail-oriented, so neat, so clean, and so well put together. It's just all part of it, right?
Attention to details, yeah, it's part of the cantinero's rules.
All right, so now you can teach us pisco sour. I wanted Julio to make a pisco sour. I wanted the most perfect person that I knew how to make a cocktail to make a pisco sour. Do you want to talk a little bit about pisco?
Yeah, pisco is a brandy. It's a brandy because it's made from grapes, from very indigenous grape from Chile and Peru. In this case, it's made from Italia. It's a variety of grape. Italia, Quebranta, and Torontel. It's a brandy, unaged brandy that is famous for the pisco sour classic cocktail.
All right, go for it.
Pisco sour, every sour have a spirit, lemon or lime, simple syrup. In this case, we add in egg white, and we top at the end with bitters, Angostura bitters. This is a very classic, the way we're doing it right now in all the bars. So we add 1.5 ounce pisco.
And by the way, Julio brings this stuff with him everywhere he goes. In the far back, you see his kind of suitcase, basically. And everywhere Julio goes, no matter where you see him out and about, because he does a lot of consulting and things, he brings all of his own shakers with him, everything, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we add the pisco, we have lemon juice, we have a simple syrup, 1-to-1 sugar and water, and we add egg white. Now is the tricky. To have a good pisco sour, we need to double shake. One with ice, the second time we shake without ice to have the foam of the frothy on top. So we have some ice, and we need to shake really hard. in order to get the foamy and the protein.
Can you always tell when there's a good bartender by the way that they shake?
Yes. Every time we look at bartender shaking, we know if that bartender is professional or a good bartender or not. So we need to shake in the proper way.
It's like a dance. You all should see me shake a cocktail. It's embarrassing.
So we strain it out in here. And then we put it back. And we shake it again a little bit to get the foam that we need on top of the cocktail. Looks delicious, huh?
Always. Julio knows I don't drink much, but if he's making cocktails, I'm in. Wow. Señor.
Pisco sour?
¿Puedo?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Gracias.
So look at the foam.
Yeah. You see that layer of foam? I mean, it's literally half the glass. It's just beautiful. Perfecto. Thank you so
Enjoy.
much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you, Julio. Wow. All right, next up, shrimp ceviche. So I wanted to show you a few things that can go on all of these ceviches or tiraditos that are delicious and crispy and just great textures. So I've actually had this on the show before. This is called cancha. This actual one is called a chulpe. It's a smaller cancha, but it's a corn nut basically. It's crispy corn. And it comes in these little bags and you fry them. When you get to a Peruvian restaurant, they just give you a bowl of this and you have it with a beer and it's just awesome. Popcorn is one of my personal favorites to put on top of a lot of these foods too. It gives that fun crunch, it gives a little nod to the corn, and it's delicious. Traditionally, you would get the big corn, as I showed you on the mussel, and here in the States you find like an ear of corn and a piece of sweet potato. This one has been steamed. There's a lot of fun things that you can put on your ceviches or tiraditos. They all kind of make ceviche what it is. So I'm going to show you my version of a really interesting ceviche that I came up with. So you take some already cooked shrimp. These are Key West pinks. They are beautiful, and they're cooked just until they're just done. Now these are from Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market, and just ask for the Key West pinks. They're a perfect size, and they always come out delicious, and they're just so pink and pretty too. All right, so to make crispy garlic, which is what I'm going to make for this, you basically take some garlic cloves, and you know this is my favorite tool because I'm always using it, but please be careful. And you basically just slide it along and you get perfect little thin slivers of garlic, which I've got here. So you take that and you put it into some oil, and I'm just going to shake it and move it around a little bit and just let it get golden and crispy, and then we're going to add it right into that shrimp. To that I've got some cleaned tomatoes, and I'll add some of that to the bowl. I don't think I'm going to make it all today. I'll just make about half of them. All right, so to that I'm going to add a jalapeno or a serrano sliced into little rings. I like to keep the heat in it, so I leave the veins and the seeds right on. Our garlic is ready, so I'll shut it off and quickly add not only the garlic pieces, but some of its oil as well. Then to that, I'll add some fresh squeezed lime. Nice. I like to call this my Mexican style ceviche. I don't really know why I call it that, but I always have. Maybe because I add avocado and tomato to it. Scoop that right in. Add the cilantro. And this is so pretty. It's got the green, the red, the garlic has great texture. Okay, so to serve, I'm going to make one for you and one for me. Beautiful. All right, so to top this, you're going to get the cancha. I always get the popcorn. All right, I'll give you a piece. And then a little chunk of this sweet potato that I steamed. And because the ceviche is tart and spicy, this is going to cool your mouth down. And then for fun, I'll add a little piece of corn. I think this has just brightened up my day, and I hope it's brightened up yours. This is wonderful. This is our tribute to ceviche, and I hope that you'll try a recipe or two from today's show. Remember, my recipes are all available online at SoFloTaste.com. I'm Michelle Bernstein. Have a great week, and I'll see you next Saturday right here on SoFlo Taste. Have some ceviche.